YOLO, my fellow Americans. I want to talk to you guys about the Second Amendment. I am pro Second Amendment, and this is the reason why. I am Armenian. All I know is Los Angeles. I grew up here, so you can technically say I'm an Armenian American or American Armenian. Now, for people that don't know, in Armenian history, we were genocided. We were the first genocide of the 20th century. Armenia was part of the Ottoman Empire, and the empire turned on the Armenian civilians. It first gathered up all the males and killed them horrifically. And then it gathered up all the women and children, young, old, pregnant, babies, just systematic genocide of somewhere around 1.5 million to 3 million people. That happened to my people, right? And in my case, in my family history, on my mother's side, there was only a sole survivor, and the family was like a family of 13 brothers and sisters. All the aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, all relatives were killed except for a 9-year-old boy, of which a Turkish family actually hid him and took him out to another area, of which he survived. He was the sole survivor in all of his relatives and distant relatives. And for that reason, that's what the founding fathers were referring to when they spoke about the Second Amendment and putting it in place, about government going haywire and tyrannical, and the Second Amendment being your last breath, pretty much, to protect yourself against tyranny, right? It's the last defense of yourself and your family. And I don't want people to misunderstand this. I am not pro-violence whatsoever. I am pro-defense, right? Guns and stuff are all, it's a defensive tool. You're just a shitty person if you're using it offensively, right? It's illegal to use it offensively. Guns are strictly defensive weapon. You're supposed to defend your house with it. You're supposed to defend your wife and kids with it, and your life with it. It's not for hunting. It's not, those are just additions to it. But the Second Amendment is strictly a defensive thing. So, especially for my Armenians out there, if you guys watch this, being Armenian, you guys should damn well be pro Second Amendment. Like my mother isn't. My mother's actually a teacher in LAUSD. My mom's not a pro Second Amendment person. She's not fond of guns and stuff. And even though I've had this conversation with her and I've told her, look at our people's history. Why wouldn't you want to have something in the house to protect yourself with, right? She doesn't want to budge, and that's her right not to. But I would suggest for my fellow Armenians to be pro Second Amendment, and to my fellow Americans, for you guys as well. I think people should be able to defend their homes and their lives when the time comes, right? It's like an insurance policy. You don't get car insurance hoping for something bad to happen, You get it in the event the unlikely happens, And that's what guns are. So I find it really weird when they, when you listen to TV and you listen to politicians talk, and they refer to guns like the AR-15 as assault rifles. They're not assault rifles. They're defensive rifles. AR-15 doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for the name of the company. It's Armalite something something. I think it's Armalite. That's what AR stands for. It's like just a short version. You know, it's like AK is like I can't even pronounce Kalashnikov properly. You know, it's AK-47. We all know it, right? Now, I'm gonna keep this video short and keep it to the point that even though I'm living in Los Angeles, even though this is my home, right? This is all I know. I can't avoid the fact that this history has taken place. And my distant relatives were victims to tyranny and to genocide. And therefore, me being a modern person in the United States, yeah, I'm pro Second Amendment. People should be armed. People should be able to defend themselves. And that's the key word, defend. Right? Defend. Not offensive, defensive. So I'm going to keep it at that. And yeah, maybe you guys can look into the Armenian genocide and then see how governments become tyrannical. I believe Jacko Wilkins, the Navy SEAL, he has an entire podcast dedicated to the Armenian genocide. He did a whole like 2-3 hour podcast in regards to the Armenian genocide, and it'll give you great insight to government going tyrannical. And it's a horrific thing, but it might make you put things into a very simple perspective, right? As simple as your life can potentially be on the line with you being able to do absolutely nothing about it. So I'm gonna end it at that. Solo YOLO BOLO. You guys have a wonderful day. Stay safe. Be defensive, not offensive. Nice.